some important aspect of fungal taxonomy and the application of molecular tools in mycology. So, since I am a basically fungal taxonomist, working as a senior scientist, the division of plant pathology, especially associated with India type culture collection and herbarium, and my passion is to sit under the microscope. I can sit for 4 hours, 5 hours continuously under the microscope. So, this is not I have somebody is telling to me to sit under the microscope. This is I love to see the microbes under the microscope. So, if you have that thing that you will feel happy if you see different kind of structure under the microscope, then you start sitting the microscope. Generally, if I will take any work molecular, I can hand it over to anybody, but checking of the microbe, whether the microbes is pure or not, whether the fungi whatever they are working that is contaminated or not, and whatever culture they are using, that should go through me only, whether my student are working on any aspect of this plant pathology, but the microbes always should be routed through me only. So, this is my area. So, generally I will not give to you do the single spore and go for DNA extraction. I never do that thing. They will do the DNA single spore colony and the culture come back to me only. I will check the culture and I give it to them. What is the reason? Reason is that because if you have mistake in your starting point, the whole experiment will go wrong. And generally, the student they are not able to identify the fungi. How can we expect that MSc student or PhD student first year, they can directly go and identify the fungus. So, that is our duty only. We have to give the purest form of the culture to them to go for any kind of study. Okay. So, this terminology is very important if you are talking about this mycology or fungal systematics, that is etymology. Etymology, a Latin word which referred to give for any organism. When you are talking about the etymology, from where that word has derived, if you are talking about Alternaria alternata. So, what is the reason? The author is given the name Alternaria alternata. So, suppose I given a name Pestalozzi anacardi, that is my own, I have made this species, I given the Pestalozzi anacardi a new species, anacardi I have taken from the host name. Okay. So, something should be related to that particular fungus, which if you are giving a name of particular fungi. So, art of naming of living organism, that is a definition, and what is the need of nomenclature. Why we want to give the nomenclature, that is also an important point. We will discuss that. What is the need to give each species a different name? If we will not give the name of each species, what will happen? And what we are not, why we are not giving the name of each isolate? We are in our system, we are giving each and every person a name. But in fungi, we are telling that this is Alternaria alternata, isolate of Alternaria alternata. Okay. What is the reason? Why we are doing the nomenclature? Nomenclature is important because if you are not giving the name, it is a very huge data. Okay. Generally, we are characterizing the pathogen based on their taxa. First, we will see whether Ascospora is producing or not. If Ascospora are producing, that means that is come to Ascomycositis. If Basidospore is producing, comes under Basidomycetes. That means we are coming from the taxa. If we will not assign a taxa and the name, it is total mess. Okay. So, for that nomenclature is very important to promote the stability and the university. So, if I am making a species Pestalozzi anacardi, that means in all over corner of the world, the same species what I am proposing, everybody will know by that name only. Okay. So, a university, that name is accepted for that particular species what I have made. If I will not give a name, how can they identify? Okay. So, this is for promote the stability and universality for specific scientific communication between mycologists and plant pathologists through the world. Okay. So, they, if talking about somebody is working in Fusarium, somebody is working in Alternaria, so that name is also important. This is the person who gave the nomenclature. This is a Carl Linnaeus, he has given the name for binomial nomenclature, means two name will be there, genus and the species. Okay. And before it was put as an international code for botanical nomenclature. Fungi was covered under international code for botanical nomenclature. But after some time, since mycology developed and lot many person are working on fungi, and fungi number is very huge as compared to plant, and it will be difficult to give under the same clause all the clause which is applicable to plant. It is not possible to put all the clause same as the case of plant, because fungi is very diverse, plant is not that much diverse. So, for that now people need a different code for fungi. So, new code has come, that is ICN, International Code for Nomenclature for Algae, Fungi in the plant. So, then they have separated from the plant. Now, again International Commission for Fungal Nomenclature again came, where we are putting all the clauses related to identification and nomenclature of the fungi. Then he says Saccardo, he has given this dual nomenclature system. Dual nomenclature system, what is that? Dual, that is a binomial nomenclature, genus and species. Two name. So, anamorphic name and the telomorphic name, that is a dual nomenclature. So, if that provision was present in article 49 of the botanical code for International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, article 49, that was option was there. If you are seeing the different stages of the fungi, you can give the different name. If you are seeing the morphological conital stage, you can give the one name. If you are seeing the sexual stages, you can give the different name. So, that dual nomenclature system was applicable in article 49 of International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Okay. So, for that what was happened? Each fungus have the two names, one name on the basis of their anamorphic stage, other name is the basis of their telomorphic stage. So, like Alternaria, Pilospora, Fusarium, Gibberella or Nectaria, Botrytis, Botryotina, Phomopsis, Diaporthi, Coloretrichum, Glomerata, Aspergillus, Immercella. So, many same fungus have sometime two names, sometime three names, depends what stage they are seeing. Some fungus also producing not one type of spore, they are producing different type of spores. So, by seeing the different type of spore, the people have put the different names, and it is no any correlation was there. At least we can think of, suppose we are giving the different name, maybe genus will be different, species can be same, some correlation should be there, but it was not like that. Genus is also different, species was also different, means we can't correlate whether the fungus is same and whether the fungus are different in different stages, whether it is anamorphic stage or telomorphic stage. So, that there is some example, and that was a main problem for the quarantine pathogens, because you know in the port who is sitting for the quarantine assessment, that they are not very good in the scientific skill, they are generally a technical person, they have a list of the pathogen. If they have telomorphic stages, name will be there, they will only check that, they will not check whether anamorphic stage fungus is coming or not. So, like that we are that problem was there. So, we allowing the pathogen to come to our country or some other country also, since the name what is listed in that quarantine list, that is either anamorphic stage or telomorphic stage. Okay. So, as I told you, some pathogen also in the this different kind of sporulation, they have given the different names. This both are asexual stages and this is the sexual stages. So, it's not only the one name, many names were given for anamorphic stages as well, because they are producing different kind of conidia. Then 1979 whole fungus concept came. So, people now people are understand little bit. After before that they are knowing that only this is two different kind of fungi, because that time techniques was not that much, they have not very good microscope, they do not have the molecular tools. So, they are thinking that this is two different kind of fungi only, they are giving the name, and also they are sitting a continent, a country, and that communication between the scientists was also not also that much frequent. No emails or internet was there, so they can't interact with each other also. Some conferences and all they are generally meeting, and that a very little scientists they are able to meet. So, then what happened? People started thinking after this time it's a whole fungus concept. Means this paper, Bronner's paper came 1989, he has first time he used rDNA to telling that this is telomorphic stages are an anamorphic stage coming in the same cluster, maybe this is the same pathogen or same fungi. Okay. So, after that people started thinking that then again the paper are coming, and then people started thinking no, this is the same fungi and a different stages. Then what happened? If that is correct, then Deuteromycotina there is no space for Deuteromycotina. Because before what we are doing, we are putting all the spore producing fungi in the Deuteromycetes and all the ascospore producing or basidospore fungi in the telomorphic stages. But after this Deuteromycotina should not be there. Then this is we have used to read this type of classification: Zygomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Deuteromycetes and Myxomycetes before. Then again it came as a, when we are telling the true fungi and the fungi like organism, is next classification came, and then we came to sequence based identification. After this classification we started thinking for the started doing the sequence based identification, which using different techniques and different primers we are using: beta tubulin, ITS, TEF, LSU, SSU, actin, HIS3 and RBP2. Different region we are starting analyzing, and the mycology and fungal taxonomy evolved. Then in 2007 this paper has come. This is high level phylogenetic classification of fungi, and it was accepted as a recent classification of fungi in 2008 by Kirk in the Dictionary of Fungi book. So, now we are telling we are not following the older classification, we are following the newer classification based of the multi-locus sequence typing. So, this paper has come and it is changed fully the classification of fungi. What happened in this classification? They have made one new sub kingdom, that is Dicaria. In the Dicaria they put Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, and the rest they have put either the phylum or Insectividus as a subphylum. So, since in this case you just see here there is a no phylum, directly it is coming as a subphylum. In this case what happened when Zygomycetes, you have heard about Zygomycetes? Zygomycetes published as a phylum, that time the Latin description was missing. So, when they are compiling the new classification 2013 before, whatever has to be published, that Latin description is very essential to be a valid publication. So, since when Zygomycetes was placed as a phylum, that time Latin description was missing. So, in this case they have not accepted Zygomycetes as a phylum. So, all this coming under the Zygomycetes, they have put as a subphylum and put as an insecticide directly to the fungi, kingdom fungi. Okay. This is the overall Dicaria, and this is a classification of Basidiomycetes and Ascomycetes. Why I am telling this thing? You just see 2012 the citation of this paper was citation 578, 2014 it was 1069 and 2018 is a 2001. So, we can't avoid and we can't read now the older classification. We have to follow the recent classification. This for that you have to see the any classification. If you are working on fungi, you have to see the classification and you have to follow the recent classification only. And any taxonomy like NCBI taxonomy, Wikipedia, wherever you see that this classification, neo classification only will come. So, this is a neo classification and this is what we are following before. This all NCBI taxonomy we can have, if we Google it, they will give you the neo classification only. Then the problem was there when everything was settled down and we accepted that fungi is having the this two stages holomorph concept has come, then which fungi can we use as a universal barcode. So, 2009 this was a 2011 was a conference in Australia. There they have decided the ITS can become a barcode for the fungi. That was the reason why we have accepted as a fungi ITS as a fungal barcode, because as we have discussed before, it is a huge database and universal primer are very robust. Then again the problem was there, since we are following this classification and we are telling that dual nomenclature is there, it should be rectified in the clause which was under International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. So, that clause is also discussed in 2005 and that clause is changed, and now we have telling this all changes we have done. Article 59 added, which are telling that you can give only one name for one fungus, that International Code for Botanical Nomenclature to International Code Commission for Nomenclature of Algae, Fungi in a Plant has been changed. Registration of your fungus in a mycobank is also very important. Electronical publication means you have to publish your paper in electronic form, not only the book form, and the Latin diagnostic either may be there, either may not be there. It is not always necessary to have the Latin description. English description will be work. So, all these changes has been occurred. This is the mycobank. You just go through, definitely if see if you want to work on any identification part, anything, you go back this website, see all the description of fungi along with all the references available. For law of preference. Law of preference was very critical point when mycologist was thinking which name they should follow, whether they will follow the Physaedium or they will follow the Nectaria, whether they will follow Trichoderma or otherwise they will follow the Hypocoria. Okay. So, this all are that mess that time. So, the law of preference, they have the group which is working for a particular this area or fungi, they have decided which name they want to follow. So, generally they have decided which is more publication is there, which name the more publication is there, that they will follow, whether it is anamorphic name or telomorphic name. So, like that if you see the Physaedium publication is more as case of Gibberella. So, they have accepted Physaedium as a name. So, like that which is more time published, they have taken that name only. So, if now we are starting with this era of molecular systematics, we have taken different techniques which we are using in mycology. So, different techniques we are using in mycology. Have you heard about this instrument? This is VBS and API, Vitek. So, this is also our instrument where we are seeing the secondary metabolite profiling. Like I told you, the Biolog, this is the older version of Biolog. It is also, it is not a DNA technique, but it is a metabolic result technique, means serological, you can say, it is like the serological technique. So, here also you can identify. Then different molecular tools are available. So, DNA probe or PCR primers. So, two options were there, we can use DNA probes or we can use the PCR primers. So, generally in the taxonomy, fungus are very diverse when it predict the secondary metabolites in and some other factor. So, generally in the fungi we are using the sequence based analysis. Sequence based analysis along with your morphology, it is very important. So, generally in fungi, in some cases like Aspergillus penicillium, chemoprofiling is working very well, but in is not fully understood in all the kind of fungi. So, different options are there, we have different type of primers. Specific species specific primer. So, generally when we are talking about that region, as we have developed, we have analyzed 100 isolates, our duty is there to give our input to the rest of the words. If you have studies of particular isolate, if you want to, if you have database, if you have generated 1000 sequences or 2000 sequences, you can develop a specific primer that the next time the person should not be again do all this analysis. So, if you develop the specific primer, so same running from the species specific primer, they can identify the fungus, they should not go for all type of analysis what you have done. So, this for their species specific primers will be there, then we can go for PCR RFLP, real time PCR you already seen in the class, PCR fingerprinting. So, this is also very important, we can go for PCR fingerprinting as well. Different primers are available, they can give the different kind of profiling. So, the fungal ID through sequences, this we are reading now. We have different regions which we can identify the fungi, and this is different database where we can blast our sequences and check our sequences. EMBL is there, GenBank is there, and so on, different database which is specific to different groups like Trichoderma, Trichokey is there, the Physaриum ID is there. So, it is specific to different groups, the database is also available. So, once people are asking, this is a future, you can have the robotic DNA extraction tool, real-time PCR and sequencing. So, same time we can put one side, another side you can take all the harvest all the data, you need not to do anything, just put your mycelium or put your starting material, what will be there, and get your sequence or the data in the other hand. So, DNA array technology is also there, we can use this multiplex PCR, that is also very important. Here as I told you, species specific primer can identify a single species, a single go, but multiplex PCR can identify a many species, a single go. That means we have to put different primer in the same condition, so it will amplify and give the result. Then sequencing. Then we can come to DNA barcoding. You heard many times the name of DNA barcoding. What is the DNA barcoding? And the oldest speaker tell once and twice the DNA barcoding. Huh? What is the DNA barcoding? What is a barcode?
Which is actually just specific to some kind of species.
Hmm.
Small sequence of DNA that is for the identification.
I just asking what is a barcode, not DNA barcode. Leave the DNA apart. What is a barcode?
Literal meaning.
There. This is the barcode. Huh? What is tell about this barcode? About the pen. When it's manufactured, who is manufactured? What is the time it was manufactured. All this detail about the pen is stored in the barcode. So, every thing, now everything is barcoded, just click it and you can have the result. Do not think that DNA barcoding is like that. Okay. Then what is the DNA barcoding? You are adding the DNA apart from along with the barcode. Okay. That means it is not like that you are putting some lights in some tube and you are getting the result. It is not DNA barcoding, means you do not have think of that ki just bring your tube there, put in somewhere, put a light and everything will become in your system. DNA barcode means you are seeing the DNA which is identical to particular species, means you are making a barcode within the DNA which is identical to particular species, we are calling as a DNA barcode. Clear? Because if we started thinking about the DNA barcode, every one thing is coming in our mind, that same thing only, that it's just clicking and we have all the data in our system. We can do that thing, we can make a database and we have the culture collection. Every tube we can do the barcoding. The barcode we can add in our tube and if you bring that tube, the result will be coming. But that culture is already identified before and we have put all the data in the database. We can do that thing, but not on a new cultures. Clear? So, this is overall, this is a starting point of the 2003, the DNA barcoding concept has come, which a primer or a region called COX1. So, COX1 is the first region which started from the DNA barcoding in case of the insect or animals. So, it is starting from the insect and animals. If we coming for this, if we are coming in the fungus case, people thought the single barcode can work for all that organism. That COX1 they have already understood that is good for insect and animals. So, they are thinking maybe the COX1 will work for a fungus as well. So, a single barcode will work for all these organisms. Lot of work has been done to standardize the COX1 as a barcode for fungi as well, but it is not possible in case of fungi, because every organism have different genome structure. So, it was a very difficult to telling the single barcode can work for all these organisms. So, this if you are talking about this is before we identify the fungus like that, then the era has come when we are talking about the sequences and then we are converting the sequence into barcode. So, here is a conversion of nucleotide sequence into barcode. So, it is universal key which you can identify. This is a CABOL consortium for the barcode of life. Here this is a monitoring organization with a barcoding initiation in the world. It is giving the funding as well as this monitoring whether all fungi or organisms has a barcoded or not. So, they have their own association. This is a barcode of life database, it is called a BOLD, and if you want to submit any sequences from your lab or your area also, you can submit to barcode. This is specific to for barcode only, not for general deposition. Apart from the barcode, if you want to submit your barcode in NCBI also, one option is there, submission to NCBI, that is barcode submission tool. So, it is not always necessary, you can always submit your sequences, barcode sequences into NCBI also. So, then again barcoding people are telling it is not important and it is not giving the much result, and sometime it is confusing also, because generally before we are thinking ITS will work for all this region. Before they are thinking COX1 will work for all the region, then at least they come to that ITS will work for all that fungi. But after some time the representation was there, ITS is not working, it is not at all working in some group of fungi. So, that means the concept of barcoding was doubtful that time, ki whether barcoding will work or not, only one region will work or not, or only the molecular tools will work or not. So, then the initiative was taken by the Cabot to go for integrated taxonomy. So, you have to go for integrated taxonomy, means you have to morphology and the sequence barcode data, and you can come to final conclusion. So, we are also member of this IBOL group, different members are there, and then we thing is that if how we can identify which group is working very good and particular fungi, means if you are talking about ITS is not working, then we can come TEF is working. How you can come to know that TEF is working? Maybe some other region is also working. So, what is the criteria? How you can, how I am telling very confidently TEF is working for Fusarium. If you will tell I will not agree madam with you, ITS will work. So, some criteria should be there. By only seeing that TEF is working, we cannot accept that, and being a student you should also not accept. So, some criteria should be there. In that criteria we can understand that whether that particular gene is working or not. So, then this COX1, why it is not working for the fungi, that main reason was there, that is many introns present inside the COX1 region. Okay. Sometimes what introns will do? It will increase the size of the amplicons. If you are thinking about 600 base pair, it will increase up to 2000 base pair. So, stability of this region is not there in the case of COX1. Even though in all the cases we have amplification, but apart from that we have the amplification of introns region as well. So, since introns are present, is always interfering in the amplification. So, this is the reason why CO1 is not working. Then ITS was working, and because it is a large reference database, robust primer, strong demand for many macrologists, which is that they want to be fungal barcode, especially for the ecologists. Ecologists, they want a result. They are not mycologists, not bacteriologists. So, they want to go for survey, whatever they brought from the survey, they want a result. So, they need a primer, at least they will work a little or fully for that particular fungi. But problem was that there shortage of data in many groups. So, still it is very robust, but many group database was not that much, and it is seriously, it is lack of resolution in the Ascomycetes group. So, if talking about all Ascomycetes, Fusarium, Trichoderma, it is not able to resolve. Then different multiple copies are also present, means ITS not a single copies are there. One time if you will amplify, it will amplify 650 base pair, another time you will amplify, it will amplify 600 base pair. So, different copies of ITS region is also there. So, it also interfering in the result, and it is difficult to identify up to species level or cryptic species level. Then some other option is there, we used to call the secondary barcode. If primary barcode will not work, we can use the secondary barcode. So, I just noted down some, you can also note down in your copy, like penicillium will go for beta tubulin, for Trichoderma TEF and beta tubulin, for Fusarium TEF RBP2, Aspergillus beta tubulin, Chaetomium beta tubulin, Bipolaris acalvolaria ITS, and Phoma SSU. So, if you want to work in that particular fungi, you can go for secondary barcode directly. So, here we have how we are discussing before, how we can identify that particular region is good for that, to identify that particular species. Three criteria is there. One is success rate of the PCR, there is barcode gap, and third is PCI. So, what is the success rate of PCR? Means we are expecting that all this when you put a PCR, you should get result in all the cases. It is not like that you have to struggle to get the amplification. So, first criteria to be a barcode, that it should be very easily amplified. Another, barcode gap. What is a barcode gap? Barcode gap is a difference between intra-specific diversion and inter-specific divergence. What is intra, what is the inter? So, within the species, and between the species. So, if the between the species it is more and within the species it should be the less, then only we can say the barcode gap will be high. So, on the basis of barcode gap we are identifying the barcode. So, this is a barcode gap where we are telling this is the base of intraspecific and interspecific diversion. You always calculate from the mega software the interspecific diversion with your region. So, if you worked on 10 region and you can suggest in your publication which 1 and 2 region is good for particular identification. So, next time people will not go for identification of all that region. So, what I am telling you TEF is good, that is multigene phylogeny is already been published, and they are telling on the basis of this criteria TEF1 is good for fusarium. Okay. So, this all are data where we have seen, we have calculated and we are telling which one is good. Then third is probability of correct identification. When you have done the mega, two type of alignment is there. It is a global alignment and semi-global alignment. Okay. So, global alignment means we are considering the gap, and another is there we are not considering the gap, with the gap or without the gap. So, you have to check, because if you have the many gaps, the probability will be less to correctly identify the species. So, when you have sequence, then you have to check which region is minimum gap is coming. If you sequence, if you have done sequencing anytime, you have seen the gaps are coming between the sequences. So, it is also depend how many gaps are coming while you are sequencing that. So, it should be less only, the gap should be less only. So, that means if that gap is less, the probability of correct identification is high. If gap is more, probability of correct identification is less, because that time software either it is trimming the sequence or is assuming either it A, C, T, G. So, by the manually it is putting one by one. So, it is not correct identification, it is only the probability of correct identification. Okay. So, all this region, all these points, one point is there success rate of PCR, another point is there barcode gap, and third is probability of correct identification. We will tell this region is good for identification of particular species. So, after analysis many region, we have come to know which region is good for that particular species. So, that we become as a secondary barcode for that genus or species. Okay. So, now if you are working of any multigene analysis, you can put this aspect in your also in your paper. So, you can have a good publication, you can increase your impact factor if you analyze the barcode, selection of the barcode in your publication, because already multigene so you have done, multigene किया है, multigene करने के बाद you have come to know the clustering and you are putting your data in the cluster. But if you see how much barcode gap is there, which region is good for which identification of particular species or genus, that also gives an impact in your publication. So, if you want to submit the database here, what if you have to submit in the form of the sequences only. The database will convert the sequence into the barcode. So, we can convert the sequence into barcode, they have the trimmer. If you have sequences with good quality and pass through that trimmer, it will convert the sequence into the barcode. So, they have a stretch of identical sequences which is priority for confirmation of that particular species. Suppose you have amplified 600 base pair, 450 base pair should be identical that particular species. So, if 450 base pair is identical, when you are putting in this board, the 450 trimmer is passed through the 450 trimmer, it will come into the barcode. Okay. That means it should be identical. That is the barcode. The 450 base pair is your barcode, not the 600 base pair is a barcode. That is different between the molecular identification and barcoding. In the barcoding, we are not taking a single nucleotide difference in your barcodes. So, generally between the region of ITS1 and ITS2 is generally conserved, and it is always the barcode. So, barcode is always identical for a particular species. So, if you are getting the 600 base pair region, all the 600 base pair is not identical, but in the middle part is always the identical. If you blast if you align also, the middle part generally it is coming as the same. So, that particular middle part is your barcode. So, what is ATCG? How is converting in the barcode? G always in the black color, C blue color, A green color, and the T red color. So, here what is doing is a general only converting the ATCG into different lines. Okay, this is only the conversion between the sequence into the barcodes. Clear? So, any questions? We will discuss. So, this is again tools which you can use in your study. So, see which region is coming good, because many persons are working on different pathogen which is not much studies. In your case your pathogen is not much studies. So, you can put this angle also and give the input to the word. So, next time they can use that particular primer to identify that particular fungus.
अभी राज्यसभा से टीवी वाले आने वाले हैं, तो वो कह के गए कि मैम का चालू रखे लेक्चर, हेड भी आने वाली है।
राज्यसभा टीवी पहले के नहीं पता. Okay, we'll discuss now. No, only the sequences. Culture always you have to submit to a culture collections. So, yeah, value publication they will ask you the accession number also when you submitted any sequences in your culture collection. So, that culture collection number will be sufficient, and same culture collection number they will ask the culture collection number while you are submitting in the board. So, always they will ask you the reference number or reference repository number. So, without repository number they will not take. So, first you have to deposit a culture to culture collection, and while uploading in the board you have to give that number here. I have given this number in the ITCC number in somewhere else, it is not much visible here, but here we will give the any repository number in the board, then only they will match. Whether if they want to work, anybody want to work, at least this culture collection, this number, that culture is available.
How do you deal with small spore fungi and the microscope? I'm finding very difficult in identifying this Stilla virus because it's very small spores. How do you deal in your lab?
Means we can go up to 100x.
100x also it's not very means I'm confused about round and oval. Like
Okay. So, this we will take in practical session. We have a practical session of morphological identification where we will tell you how to make the slide. Preparation of slide is also very important, which region you will take to making the slide and how you can identify under the microscope. It's very Aspergillosis variants very easily can identify. It's not very small. Small you are talking about Aspergillus panaceae, very small spores. Aspergillosis variants is a bigger in size, not as compared to other spores. Okay.
Means if we have one sequence, then we can submit it to NCB or bold, or we can submit it in both
You can submit to both.
different.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, where is this F1 region located in fungus?
rDNA region.
RDA.
rDNA region. And I will ask the questions. Huh? If you are not asking question to me, I will ask a question. TEF region. TEF is a gene, translation elongation factor 1 alpha. 1 alpha gene. I also have to check which chromosome it is available. 1 alpha gene. TEF is translation elongation factor 1 alpha. It is gene. Okay. So, anybody else? I am not remembering it wrong. You have to check which chromosome or which region is available. means it is generally it's we are using for this identification purpose, not having much functional. This ITS is introns only. So, it is not much functional in region, or generally it is conserved. Whatever we are talking about that identification, generally that region is conserved. Okay. Housekeeping is we are putting.
All the time whenever transcription and transcription is going on, during the translation is required, so it is present all the time. And it is more conserved also in all the data isolated, so we can.
That is why we are using as a housekeeping in as well as for identification purpose, because if you see that expression, it is not much expression is there. So, that means we are taking as a housekeeping is there.
For the anamorphic stage, there is any like changing in the function in
No.
in some case?
Oh, this only the morphological changes. Okay, maybe some character is present, some type of spore is present, but overall it is the same fungus. So, that this application or this some time of you can say this it will not change. It will not change. Suppose it is producing some kind of metabolite, something like that, it will not change because it is same fungus. Genomic is same anamorphic telomorphic stage, so it will not change. So, I think some person from Raj Sabha TV is coming here. So, we will discuss some more point here now. Ma'am. बंद कर दिया। राज्यसभा टीवी से कुछ लोग आ रहे हैं।
कहाँ से?
राज्यसभा टीवी तो हेड भी आ रहे हैं, तो उसके बाद आप कर दीजिए, मैं दोबारा से अभी।
Okay. So thank you, Deepa, for your I don't think it is working. Elaborative and excellent talk on this sequence-based identification of fungi, thereby their taxonomy, and also how this sequence-based analysis has resolved this dual nomenclature. That was a major problem, and now it is resolved, and so each fungus, single fungus is having a single name.
It will work, madam, there in the video. In the video it will work.
So that's how this sequence-based identification, apart from the morphology, is very important nowadays. Now, because of this resolution, this now we don't have the deuteromycotina at all now. So all each fungus is having only single name. Suppose, for example, trichoderma, and as she said, so the number of how it is familiar, whether it is familiar, trichoderma is an anamorph and hypocrea is a teleomorph. So then, which name is more familiar? Trichoderma, naturally. So, and also the publications in the name of in the name of trichoderma. That's how the name has been taken as a trichoderma only. Now there is no hypocrea. So that's how now because of this sequence-based analysis and also the identification. Now this that is the more importance of this sequence-based identification, and also the DNA barcoding. So with this, I think now they are not going for this tea.
I think we'll break it for a tea.
Now I request you are going to take some more time.
No, madam, we'll go for break at tea only.
So now you can break for tea. So we'll be back after 15 minutes.
टी लेके आ जाओ।